Yes, you're welcome to another edition of the program, Legal Connect. My name is Prince Ifeanyi DK, and we always promise to bring you a special guest that will talk on the point of law. Because if you don't know your rights as a Nigerian, at times you behave in a strange manner. Well, today on the program, we have a special guest. His name is Mr. John Ode, or would I call you Barrister John Ode? Whichever. All right. He is the principal partner of 62 Partners. These are legal organizations, that are there to solve your problems in courts. So, you're welcome to the program. The topic we're discussing, yes, the topic we're discussing today is that of citizens' rights when it comes to harassment from the law enforcement agencies. Because a lot of people at times don't know their rights. And we've seen on the internet various viral videos where citizens are manhandled. You saw in America, you saw the case of the Floyd. Recently, I saw the Federal Safety Commission manhandling a young man. In fact, the guy was even naked. And we have seen some other aspect where police officers beat women. You now start wondering, even Air Force, all the security agencies. So is it their right to handle people in that manner? And where does their right stop and where does the citizen's right begin?
Well, let me first see. If we look at Chapter 4 of the Constitution, the rights of every citizen is enshrined in the Constitution. And not only in the Constitution, there are other international law instruments protecting the rights of individuals, particularly at Section 37, if I'm right, that provides against torture and inhuman and degrading treatment against a human person. The law does not give any exception to that particular right. Okay, let me break it to you, sir. The right to life can be derogated from. That is, the state can order through the court that the life of somebody, a criminal, be taken.
Okay.
A police, while acting in the line of duty, can take the life of a criminal if it is to defend himself or to protect lives.
Okay.
But that right to torture cannot be derogated from, no matter what, not under any circumstances. Before a law enforcement agent can take the life of somebody, there must have been an act. Maybe the person that was killed, and maybe the person is committing a crime, or if the person is posing a threat to the life of that security officer, that law enforcement agent, or other persons.
But we've seen cases where some people are harmless. Do you understand the point? They don't carry arms. Do you understand the point? At the end of the day, the police would use excessive force on such an individual, and the person's life goes. That's what we call judicial, extrajudicial killings.
Okay, what I'm trying to state is that that right that has been protected under Section 37 of the Constitution, and not only under Section 37 of the Constitution, under Article 7 of the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights and other international law instruments, that right cannot be derogated from. That, what I'm trying to say is that under no circumstance can a law enforcement agent beat, torture, or subject any person to inhuman or degrading treatment. So all those things that we've been seeing going around, the beatings, the torture, the harassment, the extortion, all those things are not justified.
They are illegal.
They are illegal. Point blank, they are illegal. There is no excuse for it, and there can never be an exception to that particular right under the Constitution.
But you see, at times, when a policeman goes, or when a law enforcement person goes to arrest somebody, the first question they ask is, where is your
arrest warrant?
Arrest warrant.
Okay, yes.
They ask the question, and the police might say, I don't have it. So, but they still go ahead and arrest.
If we look at the relevant provision of the ACJA, that at the Administration of the Criminal Justice Act, we will find that there are some instances where law enforcement agents can arrest without warrant. One of which is if somebody is found to be committing a criminal act on the spot, the security
No, but
agent or law enforcement
But
agent
the cases we
can-
have is, I mean, they go to their houses, nobody is committing anything.
Illegal search. Illegal search.
Searching.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
you're walking on the road, they say, come here, let me stop and search.
No.
Now, stop and search a good thing?
No. Well, stop and search is illegal because for a
Stop and search is illegal?
It's illegal. It's illegal. You can a law enforcement agent cannot just see anybody on the road and say, stop there, I want to search you.
But if his movement is suspected,
there are some instances that is the law provides for some exceptions actually.
okay,
There are some instances where somebody can be apprehended if, for instance, the person is a deserter. If you look at the relevant provision of the ACJA, we find some instances where law enforcement agents can see somebody and go point blank or go head on to arrest. Another instance is if an arrest warrant has been issued by the competent court to arrest that person.
okay.
So in that instance, the law enforcement agent can arrest the person. But if you look at section 4 and 5 of the ACJA, we find that if a person is arrested, the law enforcement agent can normally restrain the person, unless, of course, if the person by word submits or surrenders himself, or by his action and say, okay, well, I'll follow you, I'll comply. Then you cannot restrain at that point. Respectfully, the person can follow the law enforcement
Without
agent
handcuff.
Without handcuff. Then section 5 of the ACJA provides also some instances where somebody can be handcuffed. Normally, generally, a person may not be handcuffed, but
the law enforcement, they like to,
yes, and
make you look like a criminal.
The ACJ provides for 3 instances where a person can be handcuffed. First is that if the person is evading arrest, you can handcuff. Second is that for the safety of that person, if, for instance, the person poses harm to himself or to the law enforcement agent, you can handcuff. Then the third instance is if the court orders that the person should be handcuffed.
Wow.
So most of what we see going the rounds are pure illegality on their face.
Well, we're still on Legal Connect. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hi, my name is Mona Lisa Chindakoka and you're watching iBrandTV.
Yes, you're welcome back. We're still here on Legal Connect, talking with Barrister John today. He's here to really throw more light on this aspect of security agencies, harassing and intimidating citizens. We are trying to know whether it's their right to really intimidate, torture people. What is the history of this harassment?
Well, I would say that
And what can citizens do? Can we take them to court?
Of course, why not? Okay, but first, before I answer this second question, let me first take us on a little journey on the history of police harassment. The police, as we know,
is it police or law enforcement?
Law enforcement.
Okay.
But police. Let me just say police like the senior brother to all the law enforcement agents.
All of them are policing.
They are policing, of course.
Everybody's policing.
But police came to bear before we have the custom, the EFCC, in fact, the Nigerian army. We had the police before other law enforcement.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes. Police, as we know it, started around 1861. If I'm right, during the colonial era. One of the reasons why the police was established then was to curtail the excesses of the anti-colonial extremists then in Lagos, when Lagos was annexed by our colonial masters. And we would find that in 1916, during the Egba riot, the police was very instrumental in subjugating and repressing the right of people. Then they were very also instrumental, if I'm very correct now, around 1927 during the Warri riots and 1929 during the Aba women's riots. So the colonial masters used the police as an instrument of repression and subjugation as at that time. So fast forward to 1930, when we now have the Nigerian police force directed by the IGP, we also found that during those times, the police was used by the colonial masters to subjugate, to silence dissenting voices. The police were very instrumental in silencing their voices then. Even after independence, that system of policing was transferred to the political elites that we know then, and in fact, till now, this system of harassment, oppression, repression, subjugation was bettered at that time when police came to bear.
Okay, your points are very clear. But today in America, I mean, those people that even in Britain, we still have policemen intimidating people. It's not a question. So policemen are necessary.
Of course, of course. Well, this issue of harassment has taken a global outlook.
Okay, good.
Of course, if we look at America now, we see what is happening. The Black Lives Matter movement and all, they were bettered as a result of the police harassment and extrajudicial killing. So this is not peculiar to Nigeria. During the COVID-19 lockdown, we saw in Kenya what happened in Kenya, in Uganda, in Ghana, how police were beating.
But would you say that the citizens are stubborn? If a policeman comes to arrest you, why resist arrest?
Well, that is exactly what we've stated earlier. That under no circumstance, no matter what,
should you resist?
Not should you resist. Should a police torture? The law is very vast and very wide. There are some instances where the police can restrain somebody. That's why we have classification of offenses. If an offense is just a simple offense, the police cannot be justified in using force to arrest somebody.
Citizens, do they have the right to take them to court?
Of course, very much.
But why is it that they don't take them to court?
Nigerians are not litigious. Sometimes we just resort to face and we just surrender everything to God.
And say, God,
please take control. See, God himself, through the instrumentality of we humans, of the government, set up the court as we have it under Section 6 of the Constitution of Nigeria 1999 as amended. The court is there to receive the grievances of people. If you have any problem, especially with law enforcement agents, you run to the court. The court is there to check our law enforcement. We who are under the executive arm of government.
I don't have money and I want to go to court. And most lawyers don't do pro bono cases anymore.
No.
You know, it's like, I mean, I don't have money to eat and you ask me to hire a lawyer.
No, let me tell you something, sir. You lose more if you don't seek redress in court through your lawyer than by settling to fate. You lose more by settling to fate. Police has battered you or any
because in the first instance, they tell you that you are going to lose the case.
Nah. No. I don't think any lawyer would say that.
Although, no, I mean, the general perception is that you can't win the case.
No.
So why are you going to court?
No, please do your research. You find many fundamental rights action cases that have been won against law enforcement agents. In fact, in our law firm, Citus Partners, we've taken so many pro bono cases. I, in particular, have handled several pro bono cases. And we are still doing that. There are legal NGOs that are there to offer free legal services for somebody who does not have the financial power to retain services.
So going to court is very, very good for every citizen.
Very, very good.
Even against the law enforcement agencies.
Very, very much. Very, very much. In fact, the fundamental rights enforcement procedure is a peculiar form of proceeding that is established for citizens, the unrepresented in particular, the poor, the illiterate, to ventilate their grievance in correcting any wrong done or committed against their rights. It is not as expensive as we thought it to be.
Okay. In fact, you have really thrown more light on this, and I want to ask citizens, do you have they call it the lever to take a police or a law enforcement person to court? Well, the lawyer here has really said that it is your right to take anybody that intimidates you. But another aspect is the finance that I just asked him, do you have the money to pay them? And he said, look, there are services out there for you to take advantage of, and sue anybody that tries to come, limits your right, or anybody that tries to frustrate you or intimidate you. All right. Well, Olaidu, thank you for coming on the show, and I believe that we have touched some areas that everybody watching right now is really thinking about. Well, if you know the areas you want us to touch, you can comment and also try to get in touch with us. Well, that's the much we can take on Legal Connect today. In fact, if you want us to come on again to talk more, based on your comment, we will still come and really, ask our lawyer here to really throw more light. You've heard it. The police has no right to, do some certain things. But please, when they come, do not resist arrest. It's at that point that they want to force you to go to their station. All right. Thank you so much for coming.
It's my pleasure, sir.
My pleasure. Bye for now, and stay peaceful.